presentation wasn't looking.
Yeah.
It's okay.
She's waiting.
Right on.
Ah, there we go.
Okay. All right. In that case, I would like to officially call to order the July 26, 2017 meeting of the Bolton Conservation Commission. As always, we'll start with a roll call. I am Brian Barabee.
I'm Jeff Bryan.
Lily Stevenson. Rebecca Longwall. Oh, sorry.
And Jeff Lawrence.
So, to explain to anyone at home watching, Jeff has very generously called in tonight, so we do have a quorum, so we can get some things accomplished on the agenda, as it's tough with summer schedules. So thank you, Jeff.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know why we didn't have the meeting up there.
Okay. So much better. When you are ready, do we have an official form for 670?
Don't have it.
Do we have
I
a?
have one from.
Yeah. Adjustments in.
We certainly got the tree out of the way.
Which one? Oh, yeah.
With that.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Stripped, done, gone. It's 233 and. I should have it memorized.
All these years. Well, I should also have it.
Ah, here we
It's
go.
the example one.
Yes. Okay, the Bolton Conservation Commission will now hold a public hearing under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and under the Bolton Wetland Bylaw, Chapter 233, to consider a request for determination filed by 670 Main Street, Megan and Scott Duhane?
Sean, it's supposed to be Sean Duhane.
I apologize, Megan and Sean Duhane. Rebecca.
So they have requested a continuance until the August 1st meeting.
So I'm happy to continue it. Seems like it's the thing to do. You'll see in the packets that Rebecca did, it's regarding a shed placement,
Yep.
which may be too close to the wetlands. What we may want to try to discuss, and I don't know, Jeff, if you have a calendar, is trying to get out there for a site visit before
Sure.
the next meeting. Our next meeting is August 1st.
Yeah.
I know I have time. I don't know if this is better served by like sending out a general poll tomorrow
Yeah,
to see when people are available.
yep.
Because that might be easier to overlay other people. So be on the lookout for that. In that case, I would like to make a motion that we continue the public hearing for 670 Main Street till our next meeting on Tuesday, August 1st, 2017, at a time to be determined. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So, push back. So continue.
So this next Tuesday coming in.
Yes.
Scary.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know. Yeah. Doing back to school shopping.
So I guess we'll take things a little out of order.
Please.
The informal appointment from the Tom Denny Camp counselors
Yep.
was regarding a shed. And that being said, they can't make it tonight because they opened their schedules for last night, and they couldn't make it tonight. However, what they're looking for, and I had said, you know, it doesn't hurt to ask by any means, but I certainly can't give them the allowance to do it, is they are looking to put up one of those just plastic sheds that you buy at Lowe's or something like that, that's basically prefabricated, or you make it and build it on site there. if you have not been out to Bower Springs where they do the camp, it's right where they have the kayaks right now, but they're looking to put this small shed right somewhere along that area to store paddles and life vests. They have structures to house those pieces of equipment or paddles or up at their home base per se, where they have the main camp activities and they have to carry them down. It would be within 25 feet, so it is just simply putting it down. They would not, to my understanding, be removing it after every camp season. It'd be something that would stay there. Maybe that's something to ask them. I did advise them to come to another meeting, whether it's within this camp season or not. I think it's going to just be proactive if they want it for next year. But that being said, again, it is within 25 feet. I think we need to clarify whether it's being left there for 4 seasons or just taken off once they're no longer there, as the kayaks are. But so that's what they were coming in to basically just talk about and see if there was any leeway of doing that.
And size-wise?
Yeah,
Sometimes
size-wise.
it's gonna get dropped off by a pickup truck and hoisted away. That's what-
Yeah, I would have to double check, but that's what it seemed like, or a small trailer or something.
And the kayaks are in a new location this year, right?
Well, the kayaks,
Or they-
so the kayaks were never stored on site. Oh wait, excuse me. So now they own them, so now they are stored on site, where previously they would trailer them in for the days that they were being used. This year is the first year they're on site, all camp, the period of time that the camp is going on, and then they'll be removed and stored in one of the trust, I don't know if it's one of their properties or one of the trust members' properties. So they are in a different area from last time though, because last time when they were used for the day, they were stored kind of on the main trail, kind of in vegetation to my understanding, but now it's in a pretty nice area. There's pine flooring, very minimal, if any, undergrowth. So it seemed like the pristine
Yeah.
spot. I honestly haven't gotten a chance to get back there. I plan on going over tomorrow, but the last time they were there, when they were first delivered, they were in correct area, nothing was in disarray. So it's not like they're not taking care of the things that they put out there.
How big is the shed?
I need to double check that. It was, to my understanding though, like Lori was saying, it was something that can be picked up, dropped off very quickly.
Just like
If-
a box type of thing that you
Yeah.
just throw paddles in.
Pre-fab, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what is in the back of my mind, rather
Yeah.
than, a shed with 2 doors and a lawnmower, right?
Oh, you mean like the trunk one?
Yeah, something like that, where they just, it's just long as it's
Yeah.
stable and you open it from the top, throw anything in, that kind of thing.
This is, well,
Anyway.
that's something that maybe we've talked about, but
Yeah,
what
that's
they're
something you
proposing is more of
Yeah.
like a shed.
Like a deck type
Two
thing with
doors,
the
yeah.
cushions in.
Yeah, and that may be
Yeah.
more suitable, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they hadn't thought of
Yeah,
that, but,
I don't know.
yeah.
But it's just be interesting to see how big it is and whether it's gonna stay there all winter.
Yeah, and whereabouts it is.
And it's the summer, I mean, it's a camp, so they need places to put stuff, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
no,
wanna
it's,
leave it there all winter, right?
it's great for him to have the camp there too. I worry about other people that don't make use of the camp, but do make use of the
The
open
shed,
space, and why is there a shed here now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Especially
then
plastic.
security too, because kids love to break open sheds in the middle of the night for no reason.
They have a, I don't know, subject down at the garden, they have a outhouse there that they put in every year.
Right.
And every week or so it gets tipped over, So I don't know. So I
Yeah,
mean,
get bored. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know if anybody's
Yeah.
decided or not, but that could happen there.
But yeah, it's,
Go floating.
Yeah, in the pond,
I could definitely see having a conversation with them just to figure out more
yeah.
what it is and
I
what
think
it
that's
look
fair.
like, yeah.
Yeah, and they seemed a little bit flexible in terms of maybe it won't be this exact shed. I mean,
Yeah,
again, it seemed that way. I don't know if that's true or
Yeah.
not, but that's the way it came off. But
So if
okay.
anybody wants to get a shed in their backyard,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, no, which makes a lot of sense too, but I can see him having it for the weeks of camp, and then it's moving it, and
Right.
it's a longer conversation.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then two things that just came up today, well, three things, I guess, really. I was working with a team group from the library to create a story walk, which is very minimal, with some stakes with the book pages on it, and it will be installed at Fifeshire for a few weeks, over the summer here.
Nice.
And then if everything goes well, which I think it will, we're potentially going to look to do another one, whether it be another story at the same place, or do one at Bower Springs or one of the more populated areas, or not populated, more frequently used areas. And then, so that was basically finished today, and it's gonna be installed this week, which is just putting posts in the ground. And then we had, myself and our town planner, Erica and Fred Hamway, had gone out to Century Mill Estates and just to do sort of a routine site
Yeah.
inspection and go over a few things that need to be accomplished still. The one thing was over this early spring, late winter, there had been some sediment runoff, and they had cleaned what was up that they could reach with a machine, without entering any of the wetlands or buffer area, from the lot that was above it, and then just put some more sediment control to reduce it from happening again. That lot is now stable, and that area hasn't been, hasn't been any more erosion or anything after the few storms that we've had. However, during that time, there was some sediment that had obviously gotten down through the crossing there. And we had said to wait till it's dry to remove it. The question now that it is dry and they can access it, the original request was to remove it by hand, which is tedious, but it is a wetland resource area. Their question was, can they use rubber treads and planks to go down there with a small excavator? Which had been used in the past when my predecessor had requested them to remove the loam that was under the crossing and replace it with riprap. So it has been done, but I wasn't quick to allow it until I sort of felt your opinions on that.
They're gonna replace it, right?
Just-
I mean, if they
just
go in there with a
scraping
tread, and then they would go back out there, put it back the way it was?
Yes.
Yeah. So-
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture the area, and so I'm not as.
It's the main crossing. As soon as you drive in, you take a right.
Yep.
I think it's Old Stone Circle.
Old Stone is first, right? Old
Yep.
Stone, Center Mill, yeah.
And it's one of the larger stream crossings there. It's right there, you can't miss it. But I do, actually I have pictures on my phone as well. And it's not excessive amount, so you could do it by hand, but it would certainly go faster and easier with a small
Yeah,
excavator.
so-
And it's just scraping, they're not really digging or boring into the ground. So,
Do you have thoughts?
my thoughts were just, my immediate thoughts are always you bring machinery into the wetlands. The fact that it's been done to correct something that was originally done, I'm not really sure why, but now it's benefited the area and they did a good job of putting things back, and it seemed the vegetation took and everything. That's why I would be okay with it, but it's
Yeah.
just, again, I want to make sure everyone's on the same page before I do okay it, understanding that there is a machine going down into the wetland.
Jeff, do you have thoughts? Lawrence?
I'm with you, Brian. I have to be on site to take a look at it, but if Rebecca's been on site and she's comfortable, then,
As long as they put it back the way it was.
Yeah, if you say they've been
Yeah. And
better
you
at doing
witness
that.
that it's actually, been done before and
Yeah. What,
corrected.
Yeah,
they
it's
noted
been
them
corrected.
before.
That area
Yeah.
And it was, this past, now there's some sediment over it, like I said, and that's what needs to be cleaned out. Prior to that though, when I first came to this position, it was well vegetated. And now that's how we basically saw that there was sediment there when there was water, was that you could see the patch where there was
Where they run
no
out and-
vegetation. Yeah.
All right, in that case, I'd be comfortable with it.
Okay.
How is it other than that? It seems like Century Mill is moving along better than in the past as far as compliance and trying to stick to a schedule, or?
Yeah, in terms of the wetlands jurisdictional area, along with keeping up with erosion sediment controls, or jute netting, it's something that is certainly necessary to have routine site visits to be assured that they're keeping up with things. But because of what happened there, where it wasn't anything egregious, but it still did affect the wetland resource area, they are now stockpiling sediment controls on site. So when things like that happen, it can immediately go out, because in that specific situation, it was 2 weeks. And it was because they'd ordered it and it didn't come in, they ordered it, didn't come in. So we just basically said solve the problem before it happens. Aside from that, I mean, it's just something we have to stay on top of.
Yep.
And myself and Erica have been, like I said, doing these routine site visits. The detention pond is another thing that they need to scrape. I can't think which one it is right now. But again, it's on Old Stone Circle, the first one on your right as you drive in. That needs to be cleaned. But again, they're waiting till it dries out.
Yeah, I see.
Which it has been dry, and that's a priority on their schedule right now. We'll say that.
That might be something to consider though, what you were just saying, having the stuff on site when we have a large project like this, that they actually have stuff on site, make it
Yes.
mandatory, that just in case there's a blowout or
Yeah,
something, we're not
replacement
waiting to
materials
find
are
something.
there, yeah.
These are developers, if they don't use it there, they'll use it somewhere else. It's not like
Right.
it's going to waste.
Yeah, I don't think I would.
Yeah, so sort of create as for the larger projects, part of that boilerplate.
Yeah.
We have them coming up too.
Oh,
Bit of a fervor, yeah.
that's, yeah, we have a couple
Long Hill.
coming up, actually.
Oh, God.
That's next meeting though.
Oh, oh, good.
Also, just quickly, before we hit 7:30 here, we had the pre-construction meeting this morning for Wilder Pond and Berlin Road culverts. The start date will be the first week of August, if not the end of next week. So signs will be up, and people who have seen those signs, the road will be closed during the time that they were working on it. So again, Wilder Road, Berlin Road, find other routes. But those seem to be moving along well. The contractor doing the work on Berlin Road was actually a commissioner for his town, and on top of that, he's been doing it for quite some time. So what he had proposed on the plans, there was only one slight difference, and it's actually better than what they had. They had a sediment trap. Yeah, basically, and now they're actually filtering it through one of those bags. So it's going to be
Oh, cool.
even better, which I was
Yeah.
very happy to hear. And just even walking through the plans where I wasn't part of that process was very helpful now that that's happening quite quickly.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, so the next one is, so, I don't know if you have to open that.
7:31. Jeff, Lawrence, did you have a chance to look through the minutes?
I did. Yep, I read through them. Looks good to me.
Anybody else have one? Question or two?
Yeah,
All right.
I'm good.
All right, in that case, let me quickly, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes for June 9th, 2017 as submitted. All, do I hear a second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Minutes so approved. This was a COC. right?
Yep.
Close enough. We'll restart if we have to, if somebody comes in last minute to oppose the certificate of compliance.
Yeah, there's,
Don't give it to them.
I don't think that's the, it was just a sort of, the site visits happening to confirm that it was okay, and then, they didn't request the COC.
Okay. Right. The Bolton Conservation Commission will now hold a public hearing under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and under the Bolton Wetland Bylaw, Chapter 233. Today, Wednesday, July 26th, here in Town Hall, to consider a request for a certificate of compliance for 248 Old Harvard Road. And do we have an update on that lovely project?
Yes. So, that project was, there had been some landscaping done on the property. This information I just got from reading the file and talking to the homeowner. And there had been a mitigation planting that was completed in 2013. And there were 2 site visits, one in 2013 that from Carol, and then one in the fall of 2015, which I believe was still Carol.
Yeah, we've been right around, right?
And then an email from my predecessor as well, confirming that everything had been successful. I think, and I have those reports and images, and I look through them, because after talking to the homeowner, that's what he was stating, and that escrow fund was fully reimbursed to him. So I obviously just wanted to double check, read through the file, everything was confirmed. They're looking to sell their home, and that's why they realized they didn't file a certificate of compliance,
That's usually
which
yeah.
is typically what happens.
Yeah, exactly right.
And obviously now that's what they need to be able to close. The homeowner had emailed me just requesting the certificate of compliance for exactly what I just said, just basically stating that there'd been a few reviews carried out by the Conservation Department, by my predecessors obviously, in fall of 2013, 2014, 2015, and then recently. I don't have the date for that, but I have emails confirming it. And he has received the full amount of funds that were held in escrow for the project, therefore documenting the compliance of the mitigation, which again, the funds show that he was fully refunded. So that being said, I did drive by. It's heavily vegetated. In the order of conditions, it was not required for him to maintain any invasives, but said that is the amount of landscaping if they wish to do landscaping. That's what they can do, is to just cut back that. It doesn't seem that they've done anything aside from mow the lawn, that's lawn, which is good. So they've let it revegetate with both what they had planted and whatever was wild there and natural. So in my opinion, it is stable and successful.
What was the original project? Retaining wall?
The original project, I think the retaining wall, it seems like it got wrapped into it because as they were requesting work, yeah, landscaping improvements and stone retaining wall. So the retaining wall is actually closer to the back of their home.
Maybe it's striking a bell.
Old Harvard Road is across from me.
Yeah, so
Is that
here-
Old Harvard Road?
That's Harvard Road, and then if you go up it, eventually there's
You
no
get to
Harvard
the-
to the left, to the right, to the left, I can't remember. It's up that a ways, if I'm correct.
So this is the proposed work, but this is basically their site plan.
Oh, there's some tables on the side.
Right. So what had happened was there was obviously area to start gravel to be replaced. So there was gravel that was placed back here, I'm assuming to create a larger lawn.
Yep.
I don't know if you can see.
If you want to create a larger lawn.
But they have wetlands very close into their property, and actually the couple that is looking to purchase the home, that if they receive the certificate of compliance tonight, it seems that they will be purchasing it. They have been very proactive in coming in and asking, you know, if we can do anything, what can we do, where can we do it, how can we do it, what are the steps we need to take, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I love it, so I'm hoping that that's what happens, but
All right.
we never know. So this is the plan.
Yeah.
This driveway is a little overgrown, and there's a driveway that comes this way, which is seen here. But this second driveway is, like I said, sort of overgrown. But that's basically it. I mean, like I said, the plantings were successful.
That's probably, it's the 2-year planting, I'm sure, was one of those visits.
Yeah.
For the escrow release.
Yeah, and
From 2013, this was.
Yeah, and then
That was
there's, yeah, well, yeah.
So yeah, so they have just beginning plantings, and then more successful, obviously,
Yeah.
as they grow up.
I like the beginning one,
That's
it's like that has a shot, like, oh yeah, that'll make it.
But they did, so
But
it's
they did,
okay.
yeah, they did.
They have a tendency to do that.
Yeah.
We'll just spend a lot of money on it in those days.
And we treat that, we always grow that big.
Indeed, those two back. So it seems like they had fulfilled their order of conditions. We were going back, checking on plantings.
Yeah.
Your predecessors thought it was fine, to the point where they released escrow.
Right.
Couldn't, I know you weren't on site,
Yeah.
but driving by, it seemed like everything was in order and they were allowed to naturalize. So I couldn't see why we wouldn't order.
Yeah,
Whatever, well, give me the certificate. Issue the certificate of compliance. Jeff Lawrence, do you have any thoughts or fears? And this predates you too.
Yeah, it sounds like enough time has passed to, you know, if the order's been satisfied, things are established, and it sounds administrative at this point to me.
Yeah, because usually when we, I know Carol especially, when she released escrow, it was not getting released until she was happy that you had met all your orders.
yeah.
So I have to imagine they should be in good shape. That said, I'm going to now make a motion that we issue a certificate of compliance for 248 Old Harvard Road. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
All right. So issued. Or will be so issued. Wish them well in their new home.
Oh, yeah, I'll just keep this.
Thank you.
Thank you, and have a nice day.
Yes. All right.
I'll give you a story. We did a house overlooks way back in the early 90s, and my wife had a baby at the time, so the contractor disappeared, so we had to finish it. And so we lived in it for 7 years and never got a certificate of occupation. So we had the walls all done, and none of that was, so when we were ready to sell it, it was sort of, You know, the town said, well, you've been living here for 7 years, nothing happened.
Yeah, nothing's caught on fire
Nothing's
yet.
caught on fire yet.
That was nice of them.
Yeah.
They could really,
It was.
could have gone under that. God, come
What's
on.
what's behind these walls?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, the Bolton Conservation Commission will now hold a public hearing. Well, is this the Harris Farm Road one?
Yeah.
Chapter 61A. Does that have to do with?
No.
No.
I
Okay.
don't know how you would. Well, I think you'd still. No, you wouldn't, because it's not the bylaw or.
No.
But they say it can be in a public hearing.
Well, Bolton Conservation Commission will now hold a public hearing to consider Chapter 61A release of 23 Harris Farm Road in Bolton. I think that would cover us. Thank you. Rebecca, if you could, when you're ready, could you give a quick update on what it is exactly we're looking at?
Sure, so basically, I think I put a map in the back. Basically, the property is a hammerhead lot. It cannot be subdivided, which we double checked with our town planner due to the required setbacks. And it makes the frontage for where the home is, which is at the back of that lot, technically. And it's off of the Sugar Road Drive. I mean, it's off of Sugar Road where the frontage is, but the actual driveway is Harris Farm Road. That being said, the back of it is a budding rattlesnake conservation area. So it would potentially allow access to Sugar Road, which after talking with Jeff, and correct me, or feel free to jump in, best case scenario, it would be the owner of the property would have an easement on the property versus the town owning the entirety of the property. Because there is a house on it where it's not just a back lot of land. There was a gentleman's farm on the property, and that's why it was in Chapter 61A, which was clarified by the homeowner, because I wasn't sure. Typically we see fields or we see timber harvesting, but there was no real documentation of that, but after discussing it with them, that's what it was. So that being said, as far as what it seemed when I polled the commission in terms of interest, because of the home on the property, because of it can't be subdivided, it seemed that best option is just that there's a new homeowner there, the back lot. The most that could be done, which I'm not sure if there's enough acreage for, I believe there is for selective timber harvesting. Who's to say that's gonna happen? I don't know. You can't predict the future here, but again, it can't be subdivided, so there's no other houses or development going in there. The house itself can't be enlarged to be an inn or anything like that. It's in a residential area. And after talking with Jeff, like I said, as far as trails goes and looking at our conservation properties that we have and the trail easements on different properties that we do have currently, it seems that that's always been the best situation. And basically the selectmen have chosen to not acquire the property, and planning board had the same opinion. So they're just looking for confirmation and documentation of if the commission feels the same way, as that's sort of what it seemed to be.
Open space and rec plan, did this show up at all?
It did not show up. What we did in the open space and recreation plan is we basically just listed out, we focused on aquifers, we focused on basically all the natural resource data. This particular area doesn't seem to have prime agricultural soils. It doesn't seem to have, or not that it doesn't seem to have, it doesn't have the Natural Heritage Survey, scenic road bylaw, a lot of the things that we were comparing. We chose not to select distinct properties just for the application of whether it be grants or projects in the future. We didn't want to be discluded because we pinpointed one specific property. So that's sort of the long answer of saying no, as we have that whole Rattlesnake area there. But north of it, towards Delaney, or northeast of it, that area was sort of pinpointed as well. So it's in close proximity to an area, but not an exact area. So I'm hesitant to say no, but it's not a focus, I guess.
Jeff, Lawrence, trail committee wise, I mean, you probably had more of a look at this property than us. Do you have strong thoughts one way or the other?
You know, my only thought with this particular property, and I agree. I don't think that this should be something that the town owns. You know, there is a value maybe to have access across it. You know, the Coventry Wood Trail dead ends about, I don't know, 50 yards from this property, which would allow us to extend it out to Sugar if the new homeowner is interested, you know, in working with us. You know, we had talked about, you know, if it's under 61A now, who knows, maybe, you know, maybe it goes under a CR at some point, you know, in the future. Or maybe it really, I think it depends on what the new homeowner's appetite is for that type of thing. But my opinion as far as owning it, I don't see the value for the commission to hold this piece of property.
Thoughts? I don't know.
I don't agree with him, you know, he's a,
Yeah,
you know.
I tend to view what Jeff says highly.
Thought his value as a trail, I think that's probably the only.
Yeah, it would be extra access to Rattlesnake, Sergeant, all that, but we have pretty good access right now.
Yeah.
So it would seem like we're leaning towards we didn't have interest in it either.
So, on this, I didn't realize I had to hand that to Linda, but I noted on it that not interested, but rather potential for a trail easement that would connect Coventry Wood to Sugar Road. So just mentioning that, that's something in the future. She didn't ask that we sign this, but if you want to sign it, just to show her that it's been at a meeting, that's fine.
Yeah,
but,
happy to. There's no official motion that we have to make, right?
You need to vote
All right.
to release it out of chapter, or to vote that you're not interested.
Okay. In that case, I'd like to make a motion that the commission votes against the acquisition of 23 Harris Farm Road, Chapter 61A property. That seemed to...
I guess so.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Okay. And I'm happy to sign this as well. As well, why not? I don't have much to sign tonight. Sign it big.
Just laughing because this was like, yep. Honestly? Actually, for the COC, we do need Jeff to sign it.
Okay.
So we'll wait to give it to them
Yep.
until he's back. When we have the vote, so.
Do you want to
Okay.
do CSX?
Yep.
Are we close enough? All right, the Bolton Conservation Commission will now hold a public hearing under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and under the Bolton Wetland Bylaw, Chapter 233. Today, Wednesday, January, wow. July 26th,
Wishful thinking.
2017, to consider a request for determination filed by CSX for vegetation management along a train right away. Is that CSX?
So, this is the RDA, if you would like to take a look at it. I apologize for not making copies. The reason why I didn't is because it is a utility. But the town the selectmen did vote to not use pesticides or herbicides and manage it that way, in terms of roadsides, right-of-ways. This also brings up the question, because I obviously wasn't here, Brian, you may remember, or Lori may remember, did the commission vote to do the same, or did we leave that end open in terms of conservation properties?
I believe we left that actually open.
Okay.
And I think it was talking with Harold too about, it was some of the invasive species management they did, but it was more of the trailhead clearing of poison ivy, and things like that. And he basically wanted to leave the option open if he needed it, but I left it that we needed to request it for him to use it or not use it.
Right.
But the option was still going to be there.
Okay.
I think that's where we were comfortable leaving it.
Okay, so that's actually related to another thing as well, but that does pertain to this. So they actually did send in a map or a locus of the area that shows the rail bed.
This is down on Water Park.
Yeah, it's, I mean, it barely crosses.
They
It's a
come
little
every
cut.
single year in front of us, and it's just like a,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's same
it's
exact
the same,
thing.
yeah.
And that's usually like, that's the one question is, did they change anything from their management plan, which
Right, they didn't, as in the emails, I believe I forwarded to everyone when it was that back and forth a month or 2 or 3 ago at this point. It wasn't that anything changed. I think there was one, they removed a more harmful chemical to replace it with one that is a little less harmful.
It wasn't quite.
Yeah, I would say it wouldn't
It's
be
not really a
harmful.
plus, but it's better than what it
Yeah.
was, yeah.
So that's really the only change. They're still managing the same area with all the other same product.
Because that's our usual, is have they changed their management plan?
Yeah.
Which they really
Yeah.
haven't. If anything, they made it a little bit better.
Many years.
And then the other two usually are,
I've never seen a train on.
did the town change anything?
Right.
Which in this
Oh,
case,
yeah,
maybe we
yeah.
have.
Yeah, I can
But it doesn't sound like we have as a commission. as far
No,
as our
that's
stuff is up.
Yeah.
And then the,
I've ever even seen a train on it.
The other one too, which might be far too long of a conversation, is, has accepted science changed?
Right.
Have we learned anything major that should
From that.
make us change our minds on what they've already proposed? And I'm not sure. I mean, I think there are more fears now about some of the oversights than there were in the past. Again, with it being a public utility or being a utility, it's hard for us to really enforce that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm willing to try.
Yeah, and
But-
I am too. And if it was close to a waterway, which I drive by that every day, whether if I'm going to Fifeshire or just driving home, and there's no pond
There's nothing.
right there,
Yeah, that little cut up corner.
and that's where I would be a little bit.
There's no river, there's no.
Doesn't go into the ground,
There's
though.
nothing. Correct.
You know,
Yeah,
that's
it
the
does.
fact of it, yeah.
It does, and that is.
Ends up in the pond eventually, some pond somewhere. but
Yep.
I don't know what you can do about it, though. I mean,
Yep. My concern though, with it being further away, I mean, you can argue that what aquatic pond's there up at Fifeshire, but it's actually,
Upriver.
yeah, I was gonna say, looking at this map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would take some time and a lot of something being poured in one concentrated area to affect it. And it's not directly going into a waterway. I'm a little more okay with it.
We wonder what they do on the other sides of Bolton on that track. You know, and where it goes through Bolton, and we said
Oh.
you can't do that, but what do they do on the other ends of it? And was probably.
Yeah, and that's another.
It gets into it, yeah.
And I don't know what they can do, it's gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, so.
Alright. So,
Yeah.
I mean, as you read through it, is there anything that, I mean, yeah, is there anything to question? Is there anything? I shouldn't say think it's definitely worth it for us to push back on, but is there anything that strikes out that we possibly should? I mean,
There's nothing, like I said, I am always erring on the side of caution with these type of chemicals, but like I said, they're obviously looking at what they're using and comparing it to other products and changing them out as other ones become available that at the present moment seem to be less harmful.
They're highly regulated.
Right.
I mean, the training in their classes and all the state regulations that they have to go through to
Right.
meet anything that they spray. It's, yeah,
Yeah.
it's hours and hours of classes a year that these guys have to probably attend
Yeah.
and go through. So.
again, you know, I'd say not worth it for us to
It's
just
not.
say that,
Right,
but I
yeah.
think
No,
at the end of the day, even if we told them, like, you really couldn't do this, or you could do this,
Yeah.
they'd really just go to DEP and say, look,
the-
you know, this is,
Yeah.
we want the
Okay,
one
well-
omnibus, what can we do or not, and we don't want town stepping over that, and I think they would win that.
It's just good to know what they're putting down there.
It is,
Right,
which is
and I
why, yeah,
respect that
we have the review,
you do this.
yeah.
Basically.
Yeah,
They're not dumping gallons of
Roundup.
something on it.
Yeah.
You're doing it
and that was,
responsibly.
I think that's part of the conditions too, is that they submit, they have to let us
Yeah.
know when they're gonna do it and what they're gonna put down. I think
Yeah.
they leave the option open for what they can put down.
Yeah.
I can't remember if there was, if we had part of the conditions that they had to tell us what they used.
I'm
remember if
not
that's
sure,
in
but
there.
they do, and that was in the larger packet that I received in November or December.
And I can't remember either too if they do spray, not saying that it's okay, but I think for a lot of it too, it's manual. I mean, they go down and cut.
Yeah.
And it's not so much they go and spray, they go and cut more than
Mhm.
anything. But they reserve the right to spray should
Yes.
they need to. And- all right. Jeff Lawrence, any thoughts?
You know, I'm hesitant to comment, not having that RDA in front of me. You know, I think I heard Brian, you say, you know, cut. You know, obviously there's some species that you can't cut. You know, and others that do require chemical treatment. So, if the commission is comfortable with what they have in front of them, then you know, then I am as well. You know, if the utility is making adjustments, you know, to the chemicals being used for certain areas, then, you know, I think that speaks to a certain level of responsibility.
So, not to interrupt, but in the work description it says CSX will manage vegetation on the railroad bed using low pressure herbicide application and will avoid wetlands, water bodies, and other sensitive areas, performing all work in accordance with the Wetlands Protection Act, the listing, the numbers basically, and then the Massachusetts right-of-way management regulations.
I think you really have to worry more about the homeowner than you
Yeah.
do than a company, because
I would agree
they
with
have
that.
to follow more regulations than you
Yeah.
ever gonna believe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have my feel on that.
Yeah. The average homeowner is just gonna spray.
Because,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Not too much
and they
else.
can,
Yeah.
Yeah.
for the most part anyways, but,
Mhm.
yeah.
All right. So, sounds like from what I'm hearing that, again, this year, it seems like we should approve the RDA, right? A negative,
Determination.
yeah, negative, what though? What's the one for public
5.
utilities? 5? And I think I'm just gonna go ahead and make that motion. So I'd like to make a motion that we have a -5 determination for the request for determination filed by CSX for their vegetation management plan. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So approved.
So for that one will be signed at the next meeting as well.
Okay.
Because Jeff's not here.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the last thing to cover that again came up today, is regarding poison ivy, control on trails. Specific to Fifeshire as we're putting out the story walk trails. And DPW is going out to clear some of the grassy area from the road to the pond, just with a weed whacker. And there is poison ivy. The last time I was out there, which was last week, it was not covering the trail, but it's narrowing the trail over the bridge.
With all this moisture, it's growing.
Yeah, it is. It certainly is taking advantage of it. So if we need to write a formal request, or if, I'm not sure how you want to handle that, because I wasn't sure if we went with the selectmen on that, or if it was, we left it open case by case.
I believe we left it open case by case.
No goats available?
No, I wish. I really wish, because I love goats. I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
We keep trying.
I know.
Yeah, maybe we put that in our budget,
Yeah.
lack of goat.
That'd be pretty cool. Town common goats.
I should call Audubon, I'm from the farms over there, they have lots of goats, maybe they could just bring
Rent a
them
goat
over.
for
Rent a goat.
Rent a goat.
I want to turn loose on the Japanese knotweed between the town common and all
Yeah,
those
that's
houses
what I
behind
need.
it. Head that whole hillside in, be like, we'll take them for a month,
Yeah.
hope for the best. But, so, that said, what do you think would work best, to ask Harold, or to ask Public Works to go in and try to spray ahead of time?
I mean, so specific for the story walk,
Yeah,
I think it's fine how it is, but it just came up in the conversation that there is poison ivy there, it is growing. And just sort of brought up the question again, how prevalent it is all over town and through the trails in some areas. And do we want to manage that, or are we just gonna leave it? I know it's very controversial.
I know, well, it's a native, it is a native species, I mean, it's,
Yeah,
it's a regular grower. You know, to a certain extent, I can see more, and again, this is just me, I can hear other arguments with like a Bower Springs, some of like the more heavily used trails
You should just control
and
it.
areas. But then I always think for like, for a lot of the backcountry trails that I've used my whole life, it's always been,
Well,
you know, you go at your own risk, like I was
Right.
I
used
think
to poison ivy.
You know, but that, when my wife said that she went in there, was poison ivy everywhere, and the going in thing, just weed whack that back, I suppose, but.
right, and so the issue that, and I agree with you, the issue with, and thankfully we have the Trails Committee that is fearless, and
Yeah.
we do
Do a
everything. What Harold was saying is that some of the DPW workers are allergic, obviously.
Obviously.
So you,
You don't want to weed whack.
yeah, you don't want to weed whack
Yeah, you can throw it around.
if you're allergic to it, because
Don't
then
wanna
it gets in
burn
your
it, 'cause
lungs.
it's-
Can burn it, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the potential issue with it. Maybe we just find people who aren't allergic to it yet and
Weed whack it.
weed whack it. But that's sort of where it is. But I wasn't sure if we had an idea of what we wanted to do, or if it's a longer conversation, which I personally want to do more research on what can be used in terms of management aside from weed whacking. But since we're talking about CSX and the story walk will be installed,
Yeah,
I figured it's
When
good
is
to
the
bring it
walk?
up. Well, so basically, it's getting installed on, hopefully tomorrow. It's not terrible, otherwise I'll go out Friday morning and do it, but myself, the teen librarian Karen, and then a group to get today put together. It's basically just posts and pages of the book, What Joe Saw, and it's a children's book, and it's basically just putting them out throughout the trail, and we're just going to use the loop around the upper pond. It's about 30 pages, so you spread them out, not that far apart, and they can walk around and basically just drawing attention.
Kids.
Yeah,
Parents
so
a little
kids,
bit.
Yeah,
parents,
yeah.
they can go at their
They're
leisure. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. But so they can go at their leisure, and it's a property that it's not as popular. Not that it's not as popular, but it's not
Rattlesnake.
as visited
Right.
as other properties. So this is something to draw it to that property. So a lot of people don't know that it actually is a conservation property that does have trails. So hopefully we'll draw an attraction to that along with partnering with the library on a project. That's fairly simple.
He just says, Jeff, what does he think? Should you go in there with a weed whacker? Or?
Jeff?
It sounds like a great project, and yeah, I have no problem running a string trimmer through poison ivy or poison oak or poison sumac.
And
So, you know, we can, in my especially Flexshire, given the proximity to the water, you know, if there are specific areas that need maintenance, you know, let's identify them, and we'll bring some equipment out there and just cut it right back.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, and now that we're actually on that, because I was just gonna go out, take the weed whacker and do it myself. However, we have a sign out sheet in the container, and we are going to get a new lock for the container because someone had borrowed our weed whacker, apparently from the Scouts, and Jeff didn't know about it, I didn't know about it, so we're just gonna change the lock, give people who need the key, or they can sign out the key with me, but we need to keep track of our equipment for situations like this where it becomes a bigger situation than it needs to be. So that will be on order next week.
So it seems like we're comfortable with the weed whacking.
Weed whacking.
If trail committee members are
As long as you're not
willing to-
allergic to poison ivy, I suppose.
Yeah, and maybe that larger conversation too, which might come up later too, would even be considering for next year some of our maintenance lines. That whether we price out this year having somebody that could hand remove, because I know there are companies that will go in there and rip it out, price that out, or see if we can get a hold of the goat people.
Yeah.
And try to schedule. I think the goat's a great way to go to schedule things for next year, but then to start looking in. And we knew it would take you a year or so to get to know the properties
right.
and what's going on with them.
Or
But starting to
if you
do
do
those
need to
usual.
spray, find the spots that do need to be sprayed and spray them at the proper time instead of just wasting the spray.
Yeah.
Spray them in the fall when it's pulling in the energy and
Right,
Yeah.
it's gonna work.
It's gonna work.
Yeah, pulling it up by hand doesn't do any good.
No.
No, not that I've ever
I mean, it comes back.
come back twice as fast.
It goes
Just
away
comes back,
for a
just
little
comes
bit.
back, yeah. Okay.
I like the goats idea though. I think the Conservation Commission should buy a couple of goats, just put them in the trailer.
I would never do that without your vote, but I'm definitely pro that opinion.
That's what I was gonna say, yeah, just what Rebecca wants is having to take care of the goats, but it sounds like
I
you do
would
want
love
to take
it,
care of the
I
goats.
do.
But my wife
Well,
wants
the kids
goats so
still
bad.
have-
Yeah,
door.
the kids.
Petting zoo over next door.
Yeah, it could work.
It could work.
As I said, there's invasive areas,
Yeah.
all that lovely Japanese knotweed off to the side.
I'll put them in the backyard.
Cut them off right there. Yeah, you and I could get some.
Yeah.
Tear it up,
Okay,
right?
well, also, it's a good one, yeah. Okay. You had site visit for Sawyer Road down?
Oh, yes, so I had gone on the site visit for Sawyer Road just for the erosion control, sediment control inspection. Everything's in place. It wasn't too extensive in terms of what was required. There was just, because they're grading that slope,
Yeah.
and it was the buffer area, they basically created it as a limit of work. But everything looks good. They have the DEP sign up, which is proactive. And they will be starting this week if they haven't started already, so. Because I had been out there last Friday and checked it off.
So yeah, we're good to go.
Yep.
Excellent. Anything else?
No, that was really it.
Jeff, Lawrence, anything else that you can think of offhand?
Not offhand, no, I think we're in good shape.
Not right. Anyone else? Oh my goodness. Jeff, you want to give us a lovely story of Maine for the way out, or should we save that for next time?
Lovely story of Maine. I can say, was on Cadillac Mountain this morning for sunrise, and then hiked Gorham Mountain, and mountain biked around Eagle Lake today. That was my day.
It's not a bad
So
day.
Maine is beautiful.
Excellent. So vacation photos next time. We'll put those up on VATV.
Slideshow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, our viewers want to see this. All right. I would like to make a motion that we officially close the July 26th meeting of the Bolton Conservation Commission. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 So close. Jeffrey Lawrence, thank you again for calling in. Take care.
Yeah, thank you.
My pleasure. And have a good night.
Drive carefully.